Hello and welcome to Elements, our series of chats with the artists and personalities behind the Sushitech label. As always, we're coming to you from Woodwhite Studios in Berlin. This episode, we're checking in with Peter Kersten, better known to you and I as Lawrence, producer loved for his releases on his own label Dial, among many others. He's currently based between Hamburg and Berlin and is talking to us today about the return of his Sten moniker for a much anticipated full-length release with us on Sushitech. Entitled Earthshine, the album takes the reduced, spacious sound of Sten and adds some oomph, while managing to retain the brittle fragility and beauty found in his grooves. We chatted about the creative process of making the album with label boss Yossi Amial, but also, as usual, the conversation ranged, touching on how he takes inspiration from a unique, natural source, as well as the return of Berlin's notorious nightlife. Below the interview, you'll hear some highlights of the album and some of our favourites from the artist's back catalogue. We hope you enjoy this as much as we did putting it together, so without further ado, here's the interview. So, hey Peter, it's been a while. Can you tell us a bit about the project and a little bit about what you're up to right now?
Well, yeah, the Sten release is super exciting, and yeah, it was quite a long project. And already when Yossi asked me to maybe look into the depths of my hard disk, if I have some forgotten Sten tracks or something. That's how it started, I guess, like 4 years ago or even longer. I don't know. And then from that, it turned into this like sort of ongoing project. And it's been 4 years, and I have been working on a lot of other projects as well. And one that is probably the most far from my club music is Musiq for Plants, which is a sort of plant-related music project. And yeah, it came across during the first lockdown times when everybody started doing different things and stuff.
And getting very obsessed with plants.
Yeah, and I got really into plants again, actually. So I created this little, like, really funny balcony garden, and also in Brussels, where my girlfriend lives, we built a little garden there, but very specific. And then I was experimenting a little bit more with my acoustic instruments and some time stretching software and some computer related manipulation, and I thought it goes very well together, because looking at plants, also thinking about time is so different. And also in the start of the pandemic, also our perspective on time became so, such a different thing, I thought. And so, I don't know, it's very metaphoric, but I was also reading a lot of books about plants and fungi and stuff like this. So this more ambient sort of music project reflects that in a way, So
it's an interesting concept, like the way we perceive time, and then trying to imagine how another organism perceives time.
Exactly.
At the same time, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, because like plants, or as we see it, It's this like slow growing creature, but then also from a more microscopic point of view, there's extremely fast processes happening every second and thousands of it. And then if you start from there and look at human beings and nature and the planet and the universe, I mean, that's this sort of stuff. But and I thought it was very interesting, but also clearly had a lot of time to look into this kind of things.
We all did.
And so, and I also had more time to work on my more club-related projects as well. So that was also good to always have this at least in my mind. And,
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of people sort of found it difficult to write club music during that time. But I guess if you had your sort of plant-based conceptual project, did that help your club music at all? Did it all sort of feed back together?
Yeah, I think so. Because let's say the whole time I was working on all these other projects, there was this really strong desire to, at one point get back to those places I really love since such a long time, which are clubs, And also, I think the whole time was a little bit of, you had a lot of time thinking about what you really like and what you don't like that much and what you maybe dislike also. And the things that are important to me, I really think they are important, like in the club world, let's say, and it the whole time made it I could really feel it, and that's why I could also produce quite some club music. I mean, not that much, but it was really nice to work on some new Lawrence and Sten tracks.
It sounds like it was a bit of a filter for you, kind of maybe a quality filter, or a kind of almost like a bullshit filter. You're like, why am I messing around with this? And like, let's go for this sound or something like that.
Yeah, or a whole other room where it's almost like you travel to another universe and then you know what you're missing in the world you had before.
That's certainly true.
But also what you're saying, also like a filter. Yeah.
What can we see on the Sten album then that's sort of really kind of past that filter? Like what sort of made it through from that time?
The Sten album is another example for that. I mean, I really had a lot of time working on it, and also Yossi, who encouraged me really taking my time and also sometimes do some more stuff. And I think that was really significant. And if you're talking about like a filter, of course, I mean, if you're really so far away from the club world, but you're still having this desire that this is going to happen again as soon as possible, then you really want to go back to those very special moments. And but we put some very playful, when I say we, because I was really working with Yossi back to back on this project, which I really admired. There was really an exchange, and then I also added some intros or interludes or something like that, which is again more connected to my like approach to produce maybe ambient music also in a way. It was very interesting approach all over, yeah.
So there was a lot of back and forth between you and Yossi, deciding what was going to go into the album, what wasn't, what made it, what didn't.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, yeah, it was really an exchange of ideas, and still I felt like I had all of the freedom I wanted to have. So let's say Yossi had a very inspiring approach also. Whenever there was an idea like, hey, don't you have some other interlude we could put between those tracks maybe? And I thought, wow, I was almost really thinking the same, or this is really missing. And so yeah, that was, I think, really important. And not only that, because for me, very special approach to do also like a final mix in the end. And yeah, that's, yeah, you can really hear that because I'm not the huge technician sort of person, and Yossi is, and that was really a very good match, I think.
Yeah, I think with all the artists, we've always talked about that kind of element between the collaboration between the label and the artist, which seems to work.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, different labels have different approaches, but I really like when there's deep communication, even about the evolving project. But at the same time, myself as a label owner, let's say, I'm not like this at all. You know, it's really funny because I really appreciate it. And it occurred to me sometimes with, for instance, I did this 12-inch on Pampa Records one for DJ Kotze.
Yeah, of course.
And he was like, he also always had some ideas like, maybe this part is a little too long or something. But it's, of course, there's somebody talking to you who has so much knowledge also as a DJ and producer, and then it feels so right, and it really benefits. And the same goes for Giegling, who I'm also working now. I made one 12-inch, and there's also like a really intense conversation, like really in a good way. I mean, it's so inspiring. And on the other hand, Mule music in Japan, it's we are also having a conversation but not about technical things, and that's also for a change. I also like it, so I'm more by myself, and then I'm sending Toshiya Kawasaki some tracks, and then he's just deciding on what fits on the label. And there's different approaches, but it was a lot of fun to take our time, Yossi and myself, and really work on it.
Have you always been open to other people's ideas, or have you been more private in the past? Or
it really has to click in a way. So I'm not very good at collaborations normally, but then there's people who I love to collaborate with. For instance, Christian Naujoks and Richard von der Schulburg. We have this improvisation band, and I never ever thought I could really be part of a band project for longer. And it was an amazing experience from the very beginning. And now, as we are not really doing anything so much anymore, I mean, since 2 years, but also before that, I'm really, I really miss it a lot also. I can open up myself. And with Sushitech, it's just, with Yossi, it was just, sometimes, when you get stuck and then the label owner, who's also part in the process of the album in a technical and even production sort of way. Yeah. And then this person says something that makes so much sense. And then, you're like, wow, that's exactly what I needed. And now it's going further on. And it's helped a lot.
That's cool. That's really, really cool. Yeah, I guess, Yossi just said that he's because he's a fan first and foremost. And I guess most of us are, to be honest, at this kind of, at this stage of the game with Lawrence. I mean, I think anyone listening will probably be sort of blown away by the amount of kind of outlets that you have. All these sort of like different things that you're pursuing, different sounds. I mean, is there sort of an order to it, or is it more like impulsive for you?
Yeah, impulsive is quite a good word, maybe. Or I always say it's very intuitive.
Or intuitive,
because it's not really conceptual or anything, or I'm not really trying to reach a specific sort of sound. But there's a certain frame when I'm doing I don't know, Sten. There's of course a certain definition, but the approach is very almost experimental in a way. I mean, sometimes of course I have a more concrete idea stuck in my head, but otherwise I really like to improvise for a while and find this sort of loop or whatever. And then, I mean, mostly samples that I write myself, I mean, with some instruments or something. But then at the same time, I'm a DJ and a club music lover. So there's also a certain way of excitement that I have when I'm listening to club music, and or a certain knowledge or something maybe. But it's still sort of intuitive also when it comes to the arrangement and stuff. But then it's like, okay, now there should be something happening.
Yeah, exactly. So do you so you'll jam something out, or you'll spend a day in a studio and you'll decide which is Sten and which is Lawrence, or will you go into the studio in a certain mood or a certain...
Yeah, well, I mean, this is one thing I really like to decide beforehand. Or, I mean, I don't really have a studio, first of all, so I'm all set up at home, and then I'm recording stuff. And then I bring the projects on my computer. I can bring them also to somewhere else, let's say Brussels, where I spend a lot of time, and add some things. But it's been really nice working this way, because quite a morning person, funnily. Recently.
I'm as well. I'm super morning person.
Yeah.
So much more productive.
And then it's always, I need to record something, or I'm having a tiny breakfast and tea or coffee, and then I have some acoustic instrument stuff here at home, and it's always like set up to also spontaneously record something. but then I don't decide it. I think I feel it like, oh, today is a good day to work on a Sten track and stuff. And then,
if the mood takes you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is that way of working, is that inspired by Berlin, that sort of freedom and space that the city has got, or is it just you feel it's more of your own natural way of working?
Yeah, it's my way of working. I used to have a sort of studio situation in Hamburg where I was co-running this record store, Smallville, for quite a while, and then in the back room.
I think some people would have heard of it for sure, I think.
Yeah, exactly. There was this studio parts of mine, but then still I mostly worked at home, so I didn't really go to the studio that much. I mean, more for listening to what I did, but the more time-consuming parts, which is for me certainly the arrangement and the fine-tuning and stuff, this all happens on my computer, and this takes really long time, and I can do it wherever I want, and then I really like to do it at home.
With Sten, you took quite a long break between releases, right?
Yeah, I mean, the project was entirely disappeared, I would say. And the story went that Yossi called me right at a moment where I was sort of not very happy with my musical approach, or uninspired, let's say, for quite a long time. I mean, also regarding DJing and stuff, I don't know. It was, I mean, this happens once in a while.
Yeah, of course.
This,
I think all artists go through it. Yeah,
slow hold situation.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how to go on. And exactly at that time, Yossi called and brought up the Sten project, and I thought like, wow. I mean, I was immediately so excited about it, and it took just a few minutes to say. I mean, in the beginning, it was really about more looking into some tracks that were maybe unreleased, hidden somewhere, but then I realized that I don't actually have that much stuff, that much unreleased stuff that I feel would be worth releasing. So I thought it was a better idea to just connect to this idea and produce some new tracks. Yeah. I mean, there's still like two very old tracks, little refurbished on the album, which I really like a lot, actually. So, and some semi older watch that I just produced like maybe a year or two before Yossi called. But then most parts I just started producing after we were talking about it.
Would you say, like, it's obviously not getting too basic, would you say it's a more kind of stripped down take on the Lawrence sound?
Yeah, I would say so. It's definitely more reduced, and I mean, I can't turn off my, I don't know, feelings or something, but it is a different approach and more reduced, and also more for trippy parts in the club, I would say. Also maybe more playable or something. I mean, because Lawrence tracks, I think it's always fun to when I actually hear them in a club when somebody's playing something, but it's, you have to find that moment.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree there.
And with Sten tracks, I still sort of transport a specific feeling, like certain emotions, but in a I don't know, different frame. So I really like it a lot. So I'm really so happy that
I guess people I've worked with over the years, and they'd be like, oh yeah, Lawrence tracks, yeah, I'm really looking for that special moment to play a Lawrence track. It's got to be that special moment. And then with Sten, you've got the essence of it, but you can play it to probably a bigger room.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, like the music I play as a DJ, still, I mean, I'm also trying, or let's say special moments are happening, and that's also the magic about DJing, probably. But with Lawrence tracks, oftentimes it is already like this super dense story. And the music I would normally DJ rather creates a story over longer time.
Over a longer time, yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, I think your sound as a DJ kind of goes across the board of house music, from like jacking house to sort of like more German reduced deep house, and always works. How have you found the big comeback sort of since clubs have reopened?
It was very confusing, to be honest. I mean, especially because I was, like everybody, deeply concerned, depressed, and saddened by the war that happened and is still happening. And I'm still, of course, I've been in Kiev in November.
Yeah, we saw that on your Instagram, actually.
Yeah, at Closer, and it's one of my favorite clubs.
It's a great spot. It's a really nice,
with
lovely
Dustin spot. From Giegling, and it was so lovely. And I spent, 10 hours there, and
easily done at that place, for sure.
Dancing, but also chatting with my friends over there. And so and it's so hard to get trying to help sometimes, and it's always too little, whether it's like raising funds or helping people. But at the same time, in the beginning, I thought like, okay, I cannot go back to any sort of club life. But then right at the start of the war, we had this night, which was not a dancing night, it was just a music listening night at Oda in Berlin-Neukölln, which is sort of like a listening bar. I mean, downstairs, they have this very special, it feels almost like in Japan. They recreated something there downstairs now. It's so perfect, and I wanted to cancel it because I thought I can't do it. It doesn't make any sense. But then I did not, because I thought, I really have to go out and meet up with some friends and people. Otherwise, I can't stay at home. And then it turned out being very particular. Of course, people were talking about Ukraine and what is happening. But then over time, it was also like an evening thing that was over at 2. So it was not like a club night where people are going crazy. So I felt, I mean, I know it sounds sort of wrong, but it really felt, I really felt like how important these spaces are in no matter what kind of situation. It's like, and maybe especially in these kind of situations. And I and also it gave all of us at that night a lot of courage to, we really have to try to help and support people so that these spaces are also going to happen.
Absolutely.
In Kiev and Odessa and everywhere again as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Which is of course like hard to think of for a lot of people.
But, it's true.
I felt it is important. But then, from that moment and until now, I had really mixed feelings about going back to play at clubs. I had some really nice experiences at Capital Ballwerk with XTB. That was really nice.
I love seeing Costa play. So good. Yeah,
Costa played so wonderful. And then in the end, I mean, he stayed. I played after him, and then after a while, he asked me if we could maybe play back to back, and then I was like, that's exactly the perfect moment.
Right vibe, lovely.
Because it's not always as easy, and sometimes I'm saying like, oh no, I don't know, I don't feel it.
It's chemistry, right?
Then it was like, wow, this is perfect.
Nice.
That was really nice. And then 2 weeks ago, I played at Heideglühen, and it was really magical.
Yeah, that place is a lot of fun. It's kind of a bit of an antidote to Berlin, isn't it? Like Berlin can always be a bit austere and serious, but that place is just off the chain most of the time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It was really particular. I mean, I played there many times. And,
people get loose there.
It's, you just enter this gate and you're in this whole other universe, and you exit and then you're back in this.
Then you're on the river, aren't you, in the industrial estate?
It's like waking up from a dream. And another example for how I felt like it was really very particular place, and those places are very important.
Totally.
This night out gave me a lot of strength also in a way, and courage, and it's also like after 2 years of pandemic, I feel like I got really more critical about
of course. I think we all did.
I always was in a way, of course, but and it is always important to think about what is right, what is wrong, what is important. And I feel a place like this, which creates like a whole other feeling, and people are really so close to each other and in the music, and it is really, really important.
Yeah, I'd say they're keeping that sort of old school kind of the old school vibe, and the way they curate the artists, it's quality and not hype, and they really go in.
Well, but it's also not like an old school underground club, because I mean it's really different, and it's just so beautiful. And I was like sober it was the evening hours. I started
Notorious.
playing at 7, but I came early, and the DJ before me played really nice. And then at one point, I don't know, we just left and were just so happy and had the best time. Yeah, as you say, old school club, or underground club, or however you call it. That's also something I feel like is a very important concept that accompanies my life, or I accompany this sort of. You cannot build it just like this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It has to grow, and it has to really come out of the music, but also out of the dancers and the crowd and the DJs. And there's a lot of factors that that make like underground house and techno clubs something very special.
It's an understanding passed from sort of friend to friend and passed down, and it kind of over time some people stop going, but other people carry on that spirit and that vibe. Yeah, I'd say probably their door up there is very tough as well. I'd say that's got something to do with it. Just I think they're good at making sure the right people that really understand the party are good at getting in there. So anyone listening, Heide Gloom is definitely the pretty the most exciting club I'd say in Berlin at the moment. I'd say. Yeah.
Actually, I saw Sid playing there. I mean, it was the first time I heard them playing, and it was super amazing.
They are very, very good. Maybe if there's some more Sushitech collaborations, that could be one for Yossi to take notice of. Yeah, he's.
Yeah. I know we were talking about it already.
Because you collaborated with Steve before already.
Yeah, that was really nice too. First of all, I really like Steve a lot.
He's a good guy, isn't he? Really, really sounds.
Yeah, and we meeting up sometimes, and really some parts of the world, it was always really super fun. And then also I really admire his music a lot, and also like really from the olden like Musiq sort of times and stuff. So I've been listening to his music ever since actually. And I don't know, it was really I was super excited, but then it was also quite easy in a way because I love Steve's music for being like extremely reduced and so on point. So I also try to create something which is me, which is maybe also special, but which is just, one track and not like a huge, maybe it was, of course, a few more tracks to make a certain more detailed stereo sound, but we are also very reduced, and then it clicked. And then what was the name of the track? It was One More Thing.
Just One More Thing, yeah.
Just One More Thing, because we found out, I don't know how, that we both like super Columbo fans. Columbo fans.
Columbo, of course.
yeah, exactly. And like Peter Falk fans,
nice.
but especially also like Columbo, and I mean,
that makes so much. Of course, Steve's a Columbo fan. Like it just makes so much sense.
Just One More Thing. Steve came up with a title.
Nice.
It was really fun.
That's great. Really great. I know a few other DJs actually who are Columbo fans.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, Peter Falk, he's just so great. Also in like all these John Cassavetes movies and stuff. And but then also, I know some people who know him more from Cassavetes, like from independent cinema, and then I told them, hey, but then you really have to watch Columbo. Some of them just knew it as when they were like, I don't know, children or teenagers, and it's like, no, it's really good. And there's even one episode where John Cassavetes is in it, and he's playing this symphony orchestra conductor, and he's the murderer and stuff like that. I mean, it's really so hilarious. I mean, that's really
I'm loving the influences here, ranging from plants, time travel, and Columbo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
good.
That's it was that was the headline already.
I think
plants traveling at Columbo.
I think that's definitely the headline to the interview. Just quickly before you go, tell us what's coming up and what's in store for you as Lawrence, Sten, the plants.
In the near future, there's certainly like some gigs lining up, but some really exciting things also, including Waking Live Festival.
In Portugal.
Then I'm going to Prague next weekend, to Wild, to Paris. There's this new club called Vault. And I'm playing at one of the Yoyaku parties, which I'm super excited about. And it will be also my first time to visit the record store. And I know that they are also really supporting Sushitech.
Yeah, always.
I mean, or let's say people really like it a lot. And so it makes sense. And then I'm going to play in Hamburg at the Golden Pool Club again, which used to be my sort of
home territory.
Music, living room for a really long time in the early 2000s until mid 2010s. And I'm going to play with Carsten Joost, my label partner of Die Records, who just finished producing his third studio album, which I'm super excited about. I mean, just today was this pre-release day on Bandcamp, and in 2 weeks we're going digital, and then the vinyl is coming when it comes. So we hope it will be also soonish, and but it's kind of unpredictable. But that's super excited about that.
Oh, nice.
And I just released a 12-inch on Mule Musiq also. And there's a lot of stuff. Also, I'm working on more music for Giegling, and I'm also playing with them sometime in Cologne. There's a lot of stuff coming now. I mean, some of which was in the making for a longer time. So it's more like the fruits I'm harvesting now. And some so that's and more plants on my balcony. I just went to the Royal Garden Academy. That sounds like super fancy, but it's a really beautiful plant shop, let's say, down in Berlin Steglitz, right next to the Botanical Garden. That's
I know that place. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, it's a really good spot if your parents visit or something. They also have a cafe there.
Maybe a date.
I love it, and so I was just shopping there today to get some birthday present plants for my dad, who's also really into gardening and stuff. So yeah, that's what's coming up.
Beautiful. Right. Well, that's really nice way to end. And yeah, thanks so much for your time, Peter. It was lovely to talk to you.
It was so nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Hopefully break some bread soon. And enjoy your weekend. And
yeah, and thanks to Yossi in the background.
Yeah, he's recording. He's there. He's thumbs up. He's
have
big kiss.
A lovely evening. And and see you soon.
Yeah, take care, man. See you.
Bye.
So, thanks so much to Peter for inviting us into his world. It was lovely chatting, and we can't wait to dive into Earthshine when it comes out. It's promising to be another intriguing entry into the discography of this very special artist.